You are the universe.
Happy Singapore Day from Comedy Central. Comedy Central presents You Don't Know Dick, the comedy mind of Richard M. Nixon, a 20th anniversary celebration of the Nixon resignation.
And now, from the humor wing of the Richard Nixon Museum, here is your host, Harry Shearer.
Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting you until I read in this book that I'd just gotten my cue. You know, 20 years ago, this very day, Richard Nixon became the first American president to resign the office in disgrace. Now, of course, many American presidents have held the office in disgrace, but that's another story. To so many people, Richard Nixon was almost as unfunny as outtakes from City Slickers 2. But here in the Nixon Museum's little-known humor wing, there is abundant evidence that beneath that grim exterior, there beat the heart of, dare I say it, a comic imp. During this next half hour, you'll see this witty, droll, even wacky Richard Nixon. His friends and enemies both called him Dick, so yes, you will meet the Dick you never knew.
Hey, you're better looking than I am. Why don't you stay here?
If the average man or woman, Mr. and Mrs. John Q. non-Watergate felon, let's say, was being forced to leave the leadership of the free world one step ahead of impeachment, we might feel sullen, serious, maybe even resentful. But to the comic mind of Richard Nixon, this is a moment pregnant with opportunities for humor. He's just sitting down to prepare for his speech. He can't resist the joke about not being able to tell what color a man's hair is.
Blondes, they say, photograph better than brunettes. That true or not? You are a blonde, aren't you? Redhead? We're the same.
And they say Stephen Wright is surreal. Now, the head of the crew introduces the president to the CBS cameraman who'll be shooting the historic speech. Nixon knows a straight line when he sees one.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I know. Have you got an extra camera in case the lights go out?
Is this spar out or what? If the lights go out, it doesn't matter how many cameras you've got. By the way, we're being aided on this broadcast by the latest telestrator available to help us savor the nuances of this very hot set. Here's one of the comic mannerisms that Nixon aficionados find almost as surefire as John Belushi's eye roll. The presidential tongue flick. Look at him go. But Nixon's extended comical riff about cameras is just gathering up steam.
Where did you get it from? Is that an NBC?
This is the camera. This is the
Yeah.
primary camera.
Yeah.
This is the backup camera.
And that's an NBC camera, I presume.
No, they're both CBS cameras.
Standard joke.
Now, with an ease that might have been earned from years on the comedy club circuit, Nixon shifts from the wacky world of TV cameras to the nutty premise of Ollie, the White House still photographer, trying to shoot the historic speech that's just moments away.
That's enough. Thanks. My friend Ollie always wants to take a lot of pictures. I'm afraid he'll catch me picking my nose. He wouldn't print that, would you, though, Ollie? Yeah. Now, you can take a long shot, but that's enough right now. I guess I can see it.
Here's Nixon in the classic character of the ordinary guy for whom things never seem to work. He's about to go on national television to quit being the most powerful man in the country, and he guesses he can see the script. It's almost Chaplin-esque.
Oh, you want a level, don't you? Yes, yes. Good evening. This is the 37th time I have spoken to you from this office, where so many decisions have been made that shape the history of our nation. Need any more?
Now we get to the subtle stuff. Here's where quitting time is near, and Nixon is trying to convince us that he's getting serious, maybe even nervous. And this is the point where The running gag about Ollie and the camera makes its loopy return.
Okay. Ollie? No, only the CBS crew now is to be in this room during this. Only the crew. No, there will be no picture. No, after the broadcast. You've taken your picture. Didn't you take one just now? That's it. Because, you know, we don't want to, we didn't let the press is going to take one, so you've taken it, and you just take it right now. This is right after the broadcast. You got it? Come on. Okay.
What's the camera, Mr. President? The camera, the TV camera, sir.
Okay, fine. All right.
What I'm calling, sir.
All right, fine.
I'm sure.
I'm not going to make the other photographers mad by giving you too many. That's enough, okay? Now, all Secret Service, is there any Secret Service in the room?
Just one agent, Mr. President.
Out. You don't have to stay, do you? If you're required to? I'm just kidding you.
Scholars here at the Humor Wing have spent years analyzing that last sequence. We think the president is close to the edge. After all, Woodward and Bernstein have told us that the night before, he made Henry Kissinger get down on his knees and pray with him. And yet, just as we think he's cracking up, he cracks us up by ordering the Secret Service out of the room. Just imagine the looks on their faces. And here's how he brings the bit home. Is this jaunty elbow swing stolen from Gleason or Carson? Or is it just an inspired original? Like me, you be the judge. In just a couple of minutes, Richard Nixon, like Dennis Miller, will be out of here. In the last word spoken before the speech begins, he reminds us that one of the great reliable comedy twists is the powerful man who appears weirdly vulnerable.
I better get in position.
Mr. President, I believe they'd like to move the pages from...
What?
They'd like to move the pages away from the microphone, sir.
Well, I can. I mean, it just depends whether I can see them. I'll try to. You mean move them like this? Would that help you? My straight in the back, would you mind checking my collar? Is it fine? I mean, it's not ruffled up.
No, Mr. President. It's not ruffled up.
Next, the comedy team of Nixon and Haldeman on You Don't Know Dick, the comedy mind of Richard M. Nixon, here at Comedy Central. The funniest thing that came out of Woodstock was National Lampoon's Lemmings, the Woodstock satire that launched the careers of John Belushi and Chevy Chase and placed the National Lampoon on the cutting edge of American comedy. So, in the spirit of all that's groovy, Comedy Central is staging a revival of our own, National Lampoon's Lemmings, on stage one night only at New York's Bottom Line. And if you can't get tickets, just tear down the fence, man.
Damon Wayans is...
During my last physical, I asked my doctor to recommend something for a headache. He said 2 Advil relieve tough headache pain better than 2 extra-strength Tylenol gel caps. For my tough headaches, Advil just works better. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I was starting in a new school, so of course my face exploded into Monsters Inc. Just got a first impression I love to make. I can picture my Saturday nights for the next 5 years. It scares me. I wanted to blast those sets.
With Clearasil, you'll have fewer pimples in 3 days, your money back. Guaranteed.
It really worked. Yeah. The first day it looked like everyone else from the neck up. From the neck down, that is another story.
Fewer pimples in 3 days, your money back. Guaranteed.
If you like that bouncy feeling of salon-conditioned hair, you can keep it that way on your own with the new Vidal Sassoon system. Only Sassoon's expertise could create shampoos and conditioners with our exclusive protection formula, enriched with protein and moisturizers to fortify right to the cuticle edge, protecting hair from styling damage, so you can keep it in silky, bouncy salon condition all the time. For hair with salon feeling every day, Vidal Sassoon.
Hey, Comedy Central's getting noticed. Look what the critics are saying about Absolutely Fabulous. Eric Mink in the New York Daily News said it was top of the list and absolutely hilarious. So utterly and fantastically outrageous, this show is don't dare miss material. Inside Media's Ed Martin gushed that Ab Fab is easily the funniest comedy series we've seen since HBO's The Larry Sanders Show. Thanks for the good reviews, folks. Your fruit baskets are forthcoming. Compliments of Comedy Central.
Welcome back. As effective as Dick Nixon was in one, as the comedy people say, his true comic genius shone through when he was working with a partner. After all, what was Abbott without Costello? Cheech without Chong? Bill without Hillary? Although the president delivered his resignation speech as a solo performance, experts here at the humor wing of the Nixon Museum have reconstituted it together with excerpts from H.R. Haldeman's diary. Now, Haldeman was the president's chief of staff. He saw him for hours every day. Interestingly, in these sequences, it's Haldeman who has the punchlines. But as any true comedy professional will tell you, there's nothing harder or more rewarding than being a great straight man.
Good evening. This is the 37th time I have spoken to you from this office, where so many decisions have been made that shape the history of this nation. Each time I have done so to discuss with you some matter that I believe affected the national interest. In all the decisions I have made in my public life, I have always tried to do what was best for the nation.
He made the point that the theory is that the American people are like helpless children yearning for leadership, someone to tell them what to do, and therefore you have to keep doing something in order to satisfy this yearning.
I would have preferred to carry through to the finish, whatever the personal agony it would have involved. And my family unanimously urged me to do so. But the interests of the nation must always come before any personal considerations.
Some comics work deadpan. Some giggle up a storm. Nixon's gift is the oddly timed mini smile, often flashed at a time when the audience might think nothing funny is going on.
From the discussions I have had with congressional and other leaders, I have concluded that because of the Watergate matter, I might not have the support of the Congress that I would consider necessary to back the very difficult decisions and carry out the duties of this office in the way the interests of the nation will require.
He feels he should be more aloof, inaccessible, mysterious, i.e., feels overexposure detracts from impact, shouldn't be too chummy.
Where the tongue flick might seem a little too obvious, the eye flutter tips us off that a great hunk is coming up.
I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first.
The president emphasized that you have to face the fact that the whole problem is really the blacks. Pointed out there's never in history been an adequate black nation, and they're the only race of which this is true. Says Africa is hopeless. The worst there is Liberia, which we built.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford.
Well, there's the little mini smile, followed by the pursed lips. This may mean that he's thinking about his strategy of choosing Gerald Ford as his vice president on the basis that no one would dare impeach him because no one wanted a President Ford. Switcheroo time.
Will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
He's even waiting for the laugh.
As I recall the high hopes for America with which we began this second term, I feel a great sadness that I will not be here in this office working on your behalf to achieve those hopes in the next 2.5 years.
I noticed one time that the book he was diligent diligently studying was a hardware catalog open to the section on shower heads.
And to those who have not felt able to give me your support, let me say, I leave with no bitterness toward those who have opposed me.
There was considerable discussion of the terrible problem arising from the total Jewish domination of the media, and agreement that this was something that would have to be dealt with. Billy Graham has the strong feeling that the Bible says that there are satanic Jews, and that's where our problem arises.
I have taken heart from what Theodore Roosevelt once said about the man in the arena whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is not effort without error and shortcoming.
And finally, a little something for the college crowd. In the classiest way possible, he works a little blue.
But who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause.
Most important of all, Ollie the photographer didn't get a picture of him picking his nose. The man quit, and he killed.
Don't you be a quitter. You're watching You Don't Know Dick, the comedy mind of Richard M. Nixon, here at Comedy Central. You're watching Comedy Central. What the hell is going on here?
Best yourself, feel how you wanna feel. 1-800-94-JENNY. We're right here by your side, and we're for real. 1-800-94-JENNY.
Call 1-800-94-JENNY today and lose 20 pounds for $20. Jenny Craig, you won't just lose, you'll win.
You won't just lose, you'll win. 1-800-94-JENNY. 1-800-94-JENNY.
Sometimes they're hard to find, and they cost a little more, because they cost more to make. But when you want the real thing, Levi's red tab jeans are still sewn the old-fashioned way. They're the ones with a red tab on the back pocket. To find the style you want, come to JCPenney for America's largest selection of Levi's red tab jeans. JCPenney, the real place for the real thing.
Six Flags Great Adventure has 6 big reasons to visit right now. The greatest heart-pounding rides: Batman, Scream Machine, Free Fall, exciting wild water rides, the all-new Right Stuff Mach 1 Adventure, family fun and Bugs Bunny Land for the little ones, action-packed shows, and now get a free ticket when you buy one with any Coca-Cola product. Come early and stay late at America's largest theme park and drive-through safari. Six Flags Great Adventure, just minutes away.
In case you've forgotten how big America's drug problem is, here's a little reminder.
Strangely enough, leaving the presidency did not dampen the Nixon wit. In fact, in the 2 decades since he resigned the presidency and received a full pardon from his successor, Dick Nixon never let his funny muscle go flabby. The humor wing can't vouch for the authenticity of our final piece of tape, but it certainly fits the Nixon comic persona. One of his favorite routines was to insist that he hated all of the media until it came time to promote one of his new, unreadably funny books. Then he went on every TV show that booked a guest. As I say, this piece of tape from the Astounding Innovations series sure fits that pattern.
Thank you, and welcome. Welcome to Astounding Innovations. Before we do anything, I want you to meet my co-host today, a man who is a good friend of Astounding Innovations. Will you please welcome former President Richard Nixon?
It's exciting to be here.
It's exciting to have you here, Mr. President.
Don't, now call me rich.
Okay.
Not that I am rich, you know. The persecution took all my money.
Maybe all that'll change when your new book, The Real Me, comes out. Let's hope.
Yeah.
You know, Rich, before we went on the air, you told me that while you're pleased with your smile, you sometimes wish that it could be just a little bit brighter.
Well, now, don't get me wrong. Julie likes my smile, thinks it's a good one. Pat's pleased with it so far. I just think that all these years of life at the top have left my teeth looking a little yellow to these old eyes, but, you know, too bad. Nothing you can do about it.
Shall we tell him? Yeah! Our guest today has some good news, not only for you, but for all of us who know the value of an attractive smile. So would you please welcome Dr. Edgar Janklow. How do you do?
Thank you, Lyle. Hello, Mr. President.
Oh, call him Rich. Been with you 5 minutes. I'm already doing your PR.
Well, you're doing better than most of the people who work for me.
Dr. Janklow, I was going over the notes, and haven't you discovered an astonishing product that actually makes teeth photodentally brighter?
Oh, not just brighter, Lyle, but also whiter.
Doctor, how is that possible? Isn't tooth enamel color genetically determined?
Good question.
Let me show you something.
Oh.
Now, just for the sake of demonstration, we have a can of paint here. And,
Move, Doctor. Are you okay, Rich?
I'm terribly sorry. That heavy latex enamel on what must be a very expensive suit.
Oh, well, this was a personal gift from Premier Andreotti of Italy.
Oh, what a shame. Can we stop tape?
No! Would you allow me to try something here?
Hey, what is that stuff?
Well, it's a product called Preemie 2000.
Hey, this isn't experimental stuff, is it? I think we've put Rich through enough today.
Lyle, this product has been available in Europe for over a quarter of a century. Premier Andreotti of Italy probably uses this product. Just a light application to the affected area. Wipe with the dry cloth. You notice I'm hardly pressing down at all, sir. Allow the product to oxidize and emulsify. And, excuse me, sir. Do you remember which sleeve we spilled the paint on?
No, what do you mean we? It was...
The,
Oh, my goodness.
Look! Why, the paint stain is gone, and the fabric is back to brand new.
That's astounding.
Yes, it is. Now make sure he does the other arm, Rich.
He better.
We'll be right back. So, does the government give you this car?
Oh, no, they just lease it for me.
Very nice. Anyway, many tooth whitening products contain volatile oils and gels that can actually combust and eat into metal.
Hey, is that what you just did? First his jacket, now his car.
You know, Lyle, if I didn't know better, I'd say this man was a Democrat.
Well, I'm very sorry. I don't know what I can do other than to apply some of this to the affected area.
What is that stuff?
Just a light application with a dry cloth.
Well, you're not even rubbing hard, I can see that.
No, sir, I am not.
Well, what are you doing now?
I'm allowing the product to oxidize and emulsify.
Again with the oxidize and emulsify, but what are you going to do about this man's car?
Just a light buffing with a dry cloth, and you have got a brand new finish there.
Well, that's amazing. It should make the media happy. They're always climbing on my back.
Hey, what's the name of this new product that you applied to the...
The affected area? It's called Preemie 2000.
Say, isn't that the same stuff you use to get the paint stains off?
The fender is actually back to brand new.
While you were away, Dr. Janklow gave Rich something to try on his teeth.
Lyle, it's a product that has been used in Europe for over 25 years.
Well, it certainly tasted refreshing.
Not dry or chalky?
Oh, no, sir.
Hey, wait a minute. I'll ask the question here. Was it minty, sir?
Minty? No, not like toothpaste. More like fruit juice.
Fruit juice can't hurt you. So what did you do with this stuff?
Well, I did as the doctor instructed. I applied some of it to my teeth.
The affected area.
And then just used normal pressure with a dry cloth.
Well, at this rate, there won't be a dry cloth left in the house. Dr. Janklow, you had Rich go to the green room for 20 minutes. Why the 20 minutes?
Just giving the product an opportunity to what audience?
But, Lyle, here's what's really astounding.
Yes.
Look at my smile.
Oh, my God, that is good. Dr. Jenko, are you going to tell us the name of the product? I'd like to try some of that stuff on my smile.
You're not going to like the answer, Lyle.
Don't tell me you can only buy it in Europe.
Well, now, it was sold in Europe. Premier Andreotti of Italy told me about it.
That's correct, but now it is available in this country, and it's called Preemie 2000.
Wow. So that's why you thought I wouldn't like it. It's the same product. That is astonishing. And now even our viewers can purchase it.
Oh, yes. And if they order now, they get a free copy of Rich's book, The Real Me, with every purchase.
Oh, that is neat. Dr. Janklow, Rich, I hope you come back sometime. It's been fun.
Well, it's been a thrill for me, Lyle. You know, this is Preemie 2000 really is an astounding innovation.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you both. See you next time with more astounding innovation.
Please stay with us. In just a couple of minutes, I'll return to welcome you back.
Sometimes they're hard to find, and they cost a little more, because they cost more to make. But when you want the real thing, Levi's red tab jeans are still sewn the old-fashioned way. They're the ones with a red tab on the back pocket. To find the style you want, come to JCPenney for America's largest selection of Levi's red tab jeans. JCPenney, the real place for the real thing.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better, Mentos fresh and fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
Mickey, do you take Mallory to be your lawful wedded wife?
When two people feel this strongly about each other,
I love you, Mickey.
you'd be crazy to stand in their way. Immobilize me and I'm on my way. Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, Robert Downey Jr., and Tommy Lee Jones.
The world's coming to an end, Mal.
Natural Born Killers, an Oliver Stone film. Rated R. Starts Friday, August 26th at a theater near you.
So, did you hear about the big AT&T deal? Well, if you spend $25 a month on AT&T long distance, you can get AT&T True USA savings. 20% off your calls to anyone, anywhere in the USA. And if that wasn't big enough, AT&T True Rewards, with points good for free frequent flyer miles and free AT&T minutes. You won't get this big deal from MCI or Sprint, but to get it, you gotta call AT&T.
Your true voice.
You're watching Comedy Central. What the hell is going on here?
Welcome back. You know, unlike most television programs where they tell you at the end that if you're interested in finding out more about the subject matter, you have to go read. If you want to know more about the Nixon wit, there are tapes you can go listen to. They're in a listening room south of Washington, D.C., and in many ways, it's like listening to classic Friars Club roasts. In many ways. You know, I hope there's one thing we've all learned from this broadcast. Throughout his political career, Dick Nixon was constantly being killed off and kept coming back. They wrote him off when he lost to Kennedy, when he lost for the governorship of California, when he resigned the presidency. But he kept coming back. As a matter of fact, some people think that he's even coming back after this most recent setback. Well, after this program, I hope that if you should happen to run into him, you won't be frightened. Just laugh. I'm Harry Shearer. Enjoy the rest of your existence.
Singapore Day from Comedy Central.